Well, good afternoon, Airspeed Adventurers. This is Josh, and we just squeaked out of this Hurricane Ian by the skin of our teeth. Who would have thought that being in Miami would be the safe place to be to avoid a hurricane? Well, interestingly, we have had the boat hauled out, and it's been a planned haul out for several months now to do a bottom job. So we're doing something quite a bit different than we anticipated doing a couple of years ago when we hauled out. After spending a couple of months in the Bahamas and spending a lot of time swimming and diving underneath the boat, I found that the ablative bottom paint was really wearing off. I'm sure part of it had to do with, less than perfect application and preparation, and the crew that I had doing the work at the time. I mean, they were good, they were hard workers, but the reality is, it's very difficult to communicate with my limited Spanish and their limited English. So I decided to haul out and do a full-blown overhaul of the bottom. And what that means is media blasting the boat all the way down to the gel coat, reapplying an epoxy barrier coat, and rather than using either a hard bottom paint or an ablative bottom paint, I decided to go with epoxy-based Coppercoat. Now, there isn't a lot of material out on the internet about Coppercoat, but it is, as I just said, an epoxy-based bottom coat that has little tiny specks of copper dust mixed into it. And of course, copper is naturally anti-fungal, antiviral, anti-growth, biocide. It's everything. Copper is a wonderful element for so many of the things that we care about in the marine world here. And so it is certainly not an inexpensive option by any means. Coppercoat is, in my estimation, is probably at least twice as much, not just for the paint, but all in. I call it paint, but you know what I'm saying. When you're all in, you have to haul out for much longer. You need much more detailed and particular preparation of the bottom. And the reason you need to haul out longer is because of the waiting time between the barrier coat and then the application of the Coppercoat and then the curing time of the Coppercoat. So what I'm going to do is flip the camera around for this first in a series of videos on the bottom job of Airspeed. I'll show you what the sandblast looked like and what the barrier coat looks like. So we'll flip the camera around and give you a walk around the boat. So there she is, sitting up on jack stands, exactly where she was when we got the weather, the outer bands of Hurricane Ian. What you're looking at here is the epoxy barrier coat that was recently applied, I don't know, maybe an hour or two ago. But underneath here, you'll see the keel, which was sandblasted almost right down to the metal. That is actually the previous barrier coat that was on the boat. You can see down here where they went through that barrier coat and got right down to the iron. The Jeanneau 54DS has a pig iron keel, it's not lead. Over here you can see quite a bit more iron exposed. The workmen here are applying this barrier coat here. And while the boat is out of the water, I'm having Dave here do a full buff compound wax and seal and really bring out some of the shine here. He does this for me every 6 months or so. He's by far the best that I've found anywhere in Miami, and he can make this boat look brand new. It will never look brand new as long as we own it. But he's doing a phenomenal job. Anyone in the Miami area that needs a referral, I would highly recommend him. Now, when they sandblasted, they took all the prop speed off the running gear for the most part. It still does need to be removed a little bit more of it. But we're going to reprop speed that. You can see here a little dock rash from when I was in that storm in Bimini. And it was blowing like 35 knots, and they had me backing into this slip that was in super tight quarters By the way, there were no cleats on that slip. And there was another boat, a Shannon 41 or something like that, right next to me. Beautiful, shiny, gorgeous boat that I was just about to hit. And so I had to make a choice. So I had to really reef down on the reverse, and you know, I hit the dock a little bit. Not a big deal. But when we come back the next time, the whole barrier coat will have been applied. And then tomorrow they're going to move the stanchions here, all these supports, and they're going to paint the epoxy barrier coat on those bare areas, and we'll be in good shape. Well guys, that's it for now. This is the first installment, just to give you a little bit of heads up of what's going on here at Airspeed down in Miami. And we'll be following up shortly with the process of applying the Coppercoat. I may do another short instructional video on the procedure that's involved in making sure that the Coppercoat is installed correctly. And we'll go from there. So we'll see you on the next video, guys. And if you like this, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you get notified when we come out with new content. And of course, share this content with your friends, people that you may think are interested in the kind of things that we're doing here on Airspeed Adventures. So we'll get you on the next one, guys. We'll see you. Out.